Business owner check. This is my name. This is the name of my company. This is what my company does. This is why I love what I do. This is an accomplishment I'm proud of. This is where you can find me online. And if you're a small business owner, introduce yourself in the comments and let's support.
So good evening. Can you hear us? Welcome to another episode of A Seat at the Dinner Table. I am Taman.
And I'm Kim.
And we are here with marriage talk this evening, where we're going to have some lovely couples join us. But first, we do want to thank our sponsors at Simply Shondell.
Thank you, girl.
So go to www.simplyshondell.com for your handmade polymer clay earrings that are light as a feather, that are cheap as the nosebleed seats, for the quality.
My stuff ain't cheap.
Okay, but it's priced accordingly. How about we say that?
It is.
So
a lot of work goes into them things.
So for tonight, we are eating out because our kids had karate, so we're running a little bit behind schedule. So we went to Roots Natural Kitchen here in Newark off of Main Street.
I was going to try to lift it, but I realized all my chicken is on the top, so you're not going to
really
see it.
I'm going to try to.
Can y'all hear us okay? Because technical difficulties.
Yeah, technical difficulties, so we might have some echo in the background. But this is the lovely salad that we got. We both got the Mayweather, so shout out to. No. It's got some kale, some bulgur, whatever that is, avocado, beets, some goat cheese, onions, sweet chicken, tahini and pesto. So
sweet potato.
And sweet potato. It didn't say sweet potato.
Just sweet potato.
Okay, so sweet potato. Shout out to the sweet potato.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to do a quick introduction before we bring on some of our guests.
Oh, snap. Sorry, I didn't know.
Oh, my gosh, yo.
I didn't know.
So we wanted to talk about marriage tonight because we are embarking on a decade being married, 10 years, which I feel as though is a milestone.
Oh, I was just going to say something else.
What?
I thought you were going to be rude, but that's not like
No, I'm not going to be rude. So
10 years on Friday, the 25th.
Friday.
Ooh.
And he said, sounds deliciously nasty. Wow. All right, Mr. Baker.
He's just a natural born hater.
That's how we coming tonight. But needless to say, we just want to feed off of other married couples and just talk to marriage talk, to be quite honest. So without further ado, we are going to add in. How are we going to do this? We are going to add in. Let's do this correctly. We're going to add in the Bivenses. Bivenses. Is that?
Hey y'all.
Can we hear y'all? We can
Bruh.
hear y'all. Okay.
Bruh.
There we go. What's up?
Bruh, did you really read off the ingredients and you didn't do your homework before? You didn't even know what one of them was, bro. You put something in your body, you don't even know what it is.
Listen, man, when my wife had it the other night, it was delicious. So
you know it was good.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's all that matters, bro. I guess.
Yeah, I want what you had.
And it's got kale in it, so I know it's got to be halfway healthy. And avocado and beets.
Oh,
and goat cheese. So I ain't never had goat cheese a day in my life. So last week, shout out to goat cheese. Shout out to Roots Natural Chicken. But how you guys doing today?
Good. It's a nice day.
So
I'm shocked. I didn't know you guys were coming on, so I'm excited. I like when other people are on with us.
I didn't know either until yesterday.
Well, I just sent out the invite yesterday. I just had the idea yesterday, so I'm sorry.
You know what I found out?
Oh, here we go.
I saw y'all picture hanging at the bottom.
Listen, as a producer, you got to make some producer moves. And listen, we got some great guests coming on. So that's on now as well as coming on. I think.
So clearly, I just show up. So I do.
Right.
That's insane. I show up and I go.
You the talent? And I'm sorry.
Yes. Ain't nobody come to see you, Otis. They came for her.
I'm David Ruffin. David Ruffin in Temptation.
So it's
like
Tim Matthews and the Matthews. That's how we're doing it.
Funny thing about that, Tamon, is Otis outlasted everybody because he outlasted everybody. So
He did.
All right, so all right, come on, Otis. So we're gonna give a brief story of our, I guess, how we met, and then we're gonna just freestyle pretty much from there. So you want to tell like together or apart, or how you want to do it?
Do I?
All right. So the famous saying that we have in this house as far as how we met was "What the hell." And that is because the night that we met, my wife had seen me not met, but reunited. I had lost quite a bit of weight.
Backstory: Tamon and Viv went to college. We're best friends. Me and Viv went to school together. Okay. Tamon and Viv are best friends, and me and Viv went to college together. So I knew of Tamon, and we were Facebook friends. He had came up to school a couple of times. He said he tried to holler at me. I don't know. I was in a relationship, so I had no eyes for anyone else.
I know.
So going to now where he's starting off at. Now you.
Okay, so my best friend Dwayne asked me to go to an alumni game. I said sure, I wasn't doing anything. Went to the game and seen her, and she was like, "Tamon, what the hell?"
It was more like a Tamon. What the hell?
Yeah. Okay. Well,
Oh, that's worse.
But for me, it was a good what the hell, because he looked different. He had lost like a lot of weight. Not that mattered to me, but he had lost a lot of weight. He looked different, and I was just shocked that at our little alumni game that was put together at the last minute, he was there. I was like, what the hell? What is he doing here?
It wasn't nothing to do in the great city of Secret Delaware that night. It was a Friday night where let's go up top. But needless to say, I'm not going to get into the particulars.
No.
But overall, we had our first date like a couple weeks after that, and the rest is history. I mean, one of the things that we did do was we became friends first. Like it wasn't like we started dating per se. We were like, you know what? Let's see where we are as just friends first.
Right.
Let's see if we can develop a friendship first. And we clicked like right away, to be quite honest. And the attraction was already there. It was just a matter of I wanted.
Why keep backing up?
I'm sorry, because I was watching Kim's face, and she was like, the attraction was there. She was just like,
Because I call him a stalker because he was infatuated with me while I was in high school.
Wow. Okay. Shout out to the shorts. Hey, good afternoon. Good evening. My wife called me a stalker, but I'm not a stalker.
I always call him a stalker.
Let's be clear. As someone who plays sports, right? I was heavy into high school sports, and their team was like the number 1 or 2 best in the state during that time. The other was my high school. I knew a couple people or a couple girls that actually played on the team. So, of course, I'm going to look and see who's on the team. And voila, she was on the team. And I said, ooh, she got a nice little caramel pecan mocha with the dimples. And she out here giving work with the post moves and all of that. So,
he just loves
okay. But needless to say,
he knew me before I knew him. I love you.
Happily married for 10 years. Been together for 12. We started out as friends, and I guess I don't know. The attraction was there for me. I don't know about her. I guess the what the hell might have been. Needless to say, she grew to love me. But
don't do that.
We want to welcome the shorts.
Hey guys.
Another married couple that we know. How are you guys doing today?
Oh, we all right.
Good, man. Good.
Good. You look tired, good brother. You all right, man?
Yeah, I'm good. Allergies.
Okay. Understood. Okay. So, can we go around the room and ask how you guys met? Just a quick synopsis, or that's not even a word. A quick synopsis of how you guys met.
All right, I'm
You
listening
want
to you.
you want a quick synopsis?
You
You want a quick synopsis?
Stand by.
Yeah, I'm trying to. I'm getting my education up.
Me and Angie, well, we met the first religion.
Oh, now we can't even talk about him now because you can't talk.
We initially met working at McDonald's, which was really all in of itself. But that was when I was in college initially.
Yeah, don't age us.
And then shut up. and then we ended up running into each other probably like 2009, 2010. Just at like Walmart or something like that. But she ran into my mom. Her and my mom knew each other, and that was really it. I didn't think nothing else about it.
Oh no, you are telling this the worst.
Good. You volunteered. I was waiting for it.
I did. That was horrible.
I was waiting for it.
Okay, so we worked together at McDonald's when he was still in high school. Oh, that does sound.
I was
really
not
bad.
in high school.
Oh, okay. But we worked together at McDonald's, and then later on, years later, forgot all about one another. He literally lived across the street from my daughter's daycare. So I would see him outside, and I was like, I think I know that dude, and just happened to run across each other on Facebook like a week later, and boom, stuck like glue.
Stuck like glue.
I mean, it's that Gorilla Glue. It's strong.
It don't move.
It don't move.
All right. So the short is, how did you guys meet? The short,
Bro, you can't keep putting S's on the end of S's, bro.
Short shades.
I'm just messing.
I keep looking at him to see if he's going to tell the story. He keep telling me he's not going to tell the story. I always stumble with this question because we really met in church, but we didn't really speak in church. He would come every now and then, and one day the pastor at the church that I was going to, he had mentioned to like reach out to somebody that you hadn't seen in church for a while and invite them back. And for some reason, like he came to my mind. He came to mind, and I didn't know his name. I couldn't remember his name, so I was trying to figure out how I can find him because I couldn't remember his name. And then I asked a friend, and they told me his name was Lamar. So I tried to look his name up on Facebook. My wonderful husband's name is complicated. It has 2 R's and not one. So I couldn't find him. And then I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 weeks later, he came across like a friend, like you guys said, as a person you might know. And I noticed that like half of my friends was already friends with him. So I was like, this is going to be weird because if I add him, is he going to think I like him? But I don't like him, but I do think he should come back to church. So like, but I was like, Mercedes, you're thinking too much about this. Just add him because everybody else is already his friend. And he probably just going to think, y'all are all mutual friends, I guess. Long story short, I finally pushed the add button. And within like 5 minutes, I got a message in my direct message, like, nice to Facebook meet you. Ooh. And I was like, oh. Nice to Facebook meet you.
I was in that DM.
Hey, Lamar, me too.
I was in that DM, baby.
All y'all was in DMs.
Shout out to Facebook. Facebook is good.
AKA Love Connection.
That
was when Facebook was Match.com.
Yeah, Love Connection.
So basically from there, we just kind of like chatted it up. Well, we really wasn't really talking on the way up. I know for me, I can't speak for him, but for me, like I wasn't like messaging him on the way of like, I want to like talk to you. Like, I think you're cute and I want to get to know you. But it was we connected through he played basketball, and I was interested in seeing him play basketball. I thought it was kind of cool. Didn't really know that about him. So I would go to his games when he was in town, and then from there a connection kind of made. I slickly gave him my number, which I thought I was smooth about, because one day he was messaging me on Facebook Messenger, and that's how we pretty much talked. But he had messaged me on Facebook Messenger, and he was supposed to be at this men's meeting that they were having.
No, it was at men's meeting.
You were at men's meeting.
Yeah, you said supposed to be. Nah, it was, and they know. So. Come on, you have been sitting right next to me.
It was? Oh Lord!
This was like men's meeting, like early, like at Perfect World back in the day. So,
but anyway, we was at men's meeting. He was like, "Yeah, I'm at this men's meeting," but he's like messaging me. I'm like, "Stop messaging me. You should be paying attention. Just text me when you're done." And I just sent my number. And I said, "Yeah, sis, you smooth." So that was pretty much it. We pretty much hit it off after that. Mostly, like I said, through meeting at the coming to see him through the basketball games, and we would kind of hang out when he was in town, and then it just kind of went from there.
So shout out to Facebook.
Facebook got us all together.
So, all right. So we've been through ups and downs and whatnot. Let's start with the downs, so that way we can end on the ups.
Okay.
So let me ask this question. I'm gonna ask it to my wife, and then we can just go around the room.
Mm-hmm.
What are some of the things that you realized when you first got married that negatively impacted you in your mind? Like, I don't want to answer my own question, but
I mean, you have to though.
I think with me being an only child, it was. I had a lot of selfish ways that I really didn't realize, and then, wow, I don't need the.
She was in full agreement, bro.
Yeah, she's in full agreement. But there was a lot of things that I didn't realize about myself that I was selfish on. That I realized that, like, within the first year, it was like, okay, this isn't just butterflies and flowers. Like, there's actually work to this. And, like, even though I fell in love with her and wanted to be with her for the rest of my life, like, every day, every year, like, we're evolving people. And you got to really adjust in order for things to work. And not saying that you got to concede or whatever the case may be, but there was a lot of things that I didn't like about myself personally that I seen was rearing its ugly head in the marriage, that I was like, okay, there's a lot of things I need to kill. And over time, I've killed a lot of stuff, and I think that's one of the reasons why we have the marriage that we have. I really like, not to be like cliche or bragging or anything like that, but I'm like happily married, and not like just because I'm off the market or whatever the case may be. I'm like, I love coming home to my wife and don't do that. And joking with her, laughing with her, conversating, that word, converse, whatever. Just live life with her. So you answered then.
So what was your question?
I was going to ask
you. You know I'm bad at this.
Like, what are things that affected you negatively when you got married? Like,
okay. So compromising was hard for me. Like, I like things. I'm about to be real with you. I like things my way. I like them done my way because they make sense to me. With him, he likes to just do things. No rhyme or reason, no nothing.
No, we're not gonna get. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Compromising for me was the hardest thing because I'm very strong-minded. If I know what I know and I know it for a fact, there's nothing that no one can say to me to change what I know for a fact. Like, I've tested. Let's just say this bottle cap here it'll fit this bottle, but it'll also fit another bottle that I have. And he'd be like, well, let's just put it on this one. But it can go on the other one, and I like it on the other one. He's like, but it also fits this. And I'm like, listen, I like it this way because this bottle's bigger and I want to do it this way. So me having to compromise on that, and like, it's really not a big deal about which bottle this cap goes on to. That was hard for me, and that was a big struggle at the beginning. Why is this like this? I don't like it. Let's change it. And like now, I'm picking my battles. I can just let some things go. Still a struggle for me, but I'm doing a lot better because he's expressed to me like how it makes him feel. But like at the very beginning, I was like, yo, I don't know if this is gonna work because you don't do nothing I say.
You still had that mind control. Like, Bebo, you're not controlling me.
Mm-hmm.
We control each other. But go ahead. Go into Angie.
All right.
Ladies first.
You would think they on mute.
So I think the biggest challenge I found, we were very blessed and fortunate that it was like best friends getting married when we first got married. So we were good for a long time, but the biggest challenge was probably around the time when we started to realize that you can't get comfortable in your relationship because people grow, people change, people evolve. And just realizing that we have to constantly get to know one another, constantly cultivate that relationship. Like I said, it was a challenge because at one point it was like, oh, we've been together a while. We should know this. We should got this. And then once we really started talking, it was like, oh, wait, you think differently than I used to think you thought, or I've grown in a different way. So I don't think the way you used to think I thought. So working through all of that and just, keeping all that going, that was a bit of a challenge, but, you find the fun in it and the positive, and it's like, amazing just to get to date again.
Right.
For me, it was becoming an instant father. When we got together, she already had 3 kids. So I became a father overnight to a teenager, almost teenager, soon to be teenager, and a youngin. So, and then we basically got pregnant on the honeymoon, but that's for another time. So just becoming an instant father.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, man.
But just becoming an instant father, like overnight, you become a father of 3. You go from having basically no responsibilities other than yourself to really truly being the head of a family. So those responsibilities was a lot. I never really dealt with it myself. Initially, eventually I started to deal with it, but initially, man, that was really the toughest road to get over, was just being an instant father.
The short. It's mine.
Sure.
Mikey, tell me, go ahead.
I guess.
2, 3, go.
I was sitting here trying to get my answer together in my head as y'all talking. I think it was a few things for me. Everybody naming one thing, I could probably go through a list. Now I'm just joking.
We all could. I could start at the
I think for me, I'll talk about 2 of the bigger things. First one was moving. So I lived up north, about 45 minutes to an hour where we are now. And he obviously is from down, slower, lower, as I call it.
Easy.
So,
you're alone on this now.
Listen, I'm talking to a lot of slower, lower people here, so I know I'm coming with some combat here. So that was an adjustment for me because I was used to having, my friends and my family right around the corner. When we moved down here, I was also 5 months pregnant. So I pretty much moved away from everybody, and then I was a mom, and then it was just like trying to make that adjustment. And I felt like I fought that a lot within myself. Just maybe more even projecting that on him because I was bothered or I didn't know how to kind of adjust or transition from like everything that I knew to now having to be a mom, having to be a wife, and not having anybody around me that I'm used to hanging around or the church family that I was used to being with. And it just kind of felt like my whole world did a 180. So I struggled with that a lot. Secondly, I struggle with like every marriage, just bringing two worlds into one and learning how to speak a language that you're not really familiar with, I guess, because for 28 years, he had a life before me and I had a life before him for 24 years. And so that was difficult for me to kind of like, I not necessarily compromise, but understand something different than what I was used to. Understand something different than I was like used to living. I was used to being a certain way. I was used to, I was brought up a certain way. So, I mean, Kim and Tamano, like my house, like we just debate for no reason. Like a regular conversation could just be a debate. But to him, that's like, you're doing too much. And I'm like, this is normal. I'm just talking to you. And he kind of didn't understand that. And I'm like, what is wrong with you? Like, I'm not arguing with you. I'm just like, but I've learned over years or over time that like his upbringing and his life looked nothing like what I was or where I was at. And so like, to me, that was so foreign because this is normal. That's not normal. And now we have to kind of learn to coexist in a house and bring those two worlds together. And so that was something that was a struggle for me. And we still work on that every day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you're going to continue to work on that. I can tell you that 10 years in. It's always going to be something that you have to work on.
I'm about to say the morning, so nothing dies.
For me, I think one of the biggest adjustments was just learning how to balance myself for my relationship, and then also just for fatherhood. I've just kind of been involved in a lot of things just from, just my jobs. At one point I had 3 or 4 different jobs, playing basketball, mentoring, training myself. What's that? I'm sorry.
So you Jamaican?
Yo, at one point it felt like it, man. But like just learning how to adjust from that, I guess, rigorous lifestyle to finding the balance that was necessary for, like I said, my relationship and my family. I believe that the beginning times of relationship and family building are like super, super important to kind of really like set the foundation and just kind of how you kind of want things to kind of go, that's going to be successful for you guys. So I like, just as a challenge, I like, for me, just really trying to find that balance of, understanding that like I only can be as great for my family as like, first off, I am for myself. And like I need that for my family. So I think that was one big thing for me.
That's definitely huge. Got a comment that says you're a good woman for not taking it personal.
Personally,
I'm sorry. Personally, why? Okay. Then we have, what's the question?
So the question, basically, it was, what's something that you learned that impacted you kind of negatively in marriage?
Yeah. Look, good job.
I did it.
You did it.
Are those things necessarily impacting us negatively, though?
Kind of like, I'm thinking like something that we went through that we had to find out, like that was rough for us during the marriage.
Because it's basically based off your perspective.
Yeah.
But I mean, like it's all a part of growth at the end of the day.
Yeah.
In my opinion. I mean, if you decided to walk down that aisle, then you're going to have some growing pains in a sense. And I mean,
I'm pretty sure like none of us have been married. I know, yeah, none of us have been. Angie, were you married before?
Yep, unfortunately.
So aside from Angie, the rest of us, we haven't been married before. So you're automatically walking into something that you really don't know about until you're actually in it. You can see married couples and know a lot of married people, but you really don't know what it's like until you're actually in it, because behind those doors, your marriage is your marriage and nobody else's. So I think, yep, there we go, lost for train of thought.
So we got a comment that says the hardest for me was understanding the impact it has on the marriage.
That's the thing that I was kind of alluding to, was just the upbringing from two different cultures into one home, which was huge for us. That was a huge adjustment for us.
Yeah, and you work on that for the entire relationship time, because I feel like we're still finding stuff, and just now I can pinpoint certain things and go, oh, is that, the way you were brought up? Well, that's not the way my mama, I see my mom do it, or that's not the way I was taught. And you kind of do it. Well, not kind of, you have to talk through those things, because our first thought is, and she said it perfectly a minute ago, like, that ain't right. That ain't how I was raised, and it's not always right and wrong. It's just differences.
And I think that's the intention of it too. It helps me to understand his intention more, because it's not malicious. It's not something that is it's meant to cause harm to myself or our marriage. It's just something that he's used to, or something that I'm used to, and it makes me take a minute to rethink, like, you know what, that's what he's been used to all this time, and this is how he shows X, Y, and Z.
Right.
You got to say something? Or you had to?
Oh, no, there was another comment on it I was reading.
Oh, which one?
Still undecided.
I'm deciding if marriage is for me, so thanks for the education. No problem. You give out free game?
I mean, marriage is definitely something that, like I said, each marriage is completely different. And both parties have to be willing to work on these things and willing to try to do everything that they can to make it work. Mm-hmm. Because if it's one-sided, it's just not going to work unless you decided to just stay married for legal purposes and with it on paper. But if you want like a happy marriage, in my opinion, it's all my opinion, you want a happy marriage, both parties have to be willing to hear each other and work on things as issues come up, because each day it could be something different. Each month, each year, it's something different. So you have to be willing to want to hear out your partner and work on things.
And I mean, there has to be a common path. Like, of course, we all as individuals have our own goals and aspirations and whatnot. When you enter into a relationship, you're like on the brink of whether or not, okay, is this somebody that I'm going to be on my path with? Once you get to that point to where you're married, then you have to figure out how is it to where both of you guys' paths will come together, and you'll still be able to accomplish your goals if she's still able to accomplish her goals and aspirations, and how does that blend as one? I think that was something that it took me some time, because I know me personally, I had goals and aspirations and whatnot, but with my wife, she's a very strong-minded, as she said, independent woman. So it took some coaxing, some.
Use your words carefully, brother.
Use wisely.
Yeah, but no, like ultimately, I wanted her to understand that my intention was never malicious. At the end of the day, and I always wanted to grow. And one of the things that she was kind of struggling with was like, okay, now what? Like, I went to college, I got my degree. I done got a 9-to-5 job that the college told me to get.
By the way, they can have it back.
Okay, wait a minute. No, not yet. But like, pretty much like, what's next? And me being an entrepreneur at heart, I was like, you start a business. Like, flourish out your artistic creativity and whatnot. And whether y'all think so or not, she's shy. Extremely shy when it comes to a lot of things. So
that was not a secret. That is not a secret.
Well, to some it is, because she's very outspoken.
Really?
And, yeah, what do you mean?
I feel like I've known Kim for a long time. She's always been shy. With her talents, I'll put it that way.
Yeah,
she's shy with her talents. She's outspoken. Yeah. She'll stand up for herself, but with her talent, she's shy.
Definitely stand up for herself.
Yes, she will.
It's a fact.
What is happening?
But me pushing her out of that comfort zone made it to where, like, now we can flourish as a couple because now we have the same mindset when it comes to entrepreneurship. And it's helped her get her creative juices out, and it's helped me to where I feel like I can be more of myself and not like somebody that's going to be like, well, why is it that you this job right here is for you? Like, no, I want this lane. This is the lane that I wanted for myself. It's not that I can't keep a job. It's not that I don't want to work. It's that I've always had this vision since I was a kid, teenager, that I was going to work for myself and be an entrepreneur. And I really didn't know how to explain that to any other female because it looked like, oh, you just going from call center to call center. Like, no, I'm trying to figure this out until I can figure out how to start what I need to start. And I needed somebody who understood that, and she understood that. So that common path, I think, is something that if you find a commonality and y'all can go forward with it, that can drive y'all. Not y'all impertinent. I'm just saying.
We got you, bro.
There's some more comments. It says, marriage takes work. It does. No marriage is perfect. Absolutely. Any situation can be worked out if both parties are willing to be slow to speak and quick to listen. Having people in your corner that will encourage you and speak life into your marriage is a plus also.
Yes, it is.
That is true.
There's another one.
There's another. I'm sorry. Okay.
Yeah, I saw that one.
I didn't see a happy marriage in my life, so I'm insecure that I'll be.
So I wanted to touch on that. Go ahead, Mer.
Go ahead, sis, because I was going to say I could probably touch on that big time.
Yeah. So my grandparents were married, I think, I'm going to say 60 plus years. And me and my grandmother were so close, and we had a lot of talks. I would ask her questions, even to the point where I think I was like 8 years old. And I was like, Grandma, why do you do that for him? Talking about my grandfather. And she would break things down to me at age-appropriate levels. But she would tell you, she told me she was unhappy 60-some years of her marriage. And I'm like, okay. So, but I saw that unhappiness. So that marriage, from my perspective, was not a happy, flourishing marriage. My mom and my dad split up when I was young. My mom wasn't married until actually after Taman and I got married. So I didn't have that example either. So growing up, I had no examples of a good marriage. I have family members that were married, didn't seem, from what I've seen, it wasn't what I thought a marriage should be. So I did not have a good example of marriage. So in my mind, this ain't something that I need to do. But then when I met Taman, and I got older and then I met Taman, I'm like, okay, I want to get married, but this is what I'm not going to do. I'm not going to tolerate this. We're not going to do this. I'm not going to be like this, because that's not what I want in a marriage. And that's actually a conversation that I had with him before we got married. Like, this is what I expect. Like, I don't know. I've never been married before, but I've seen a lot of bad ones, and this is what I'm not doing it. So marriage can still work if you have not had any type of positive role models in your life.
I could probably piggyback right off of what Kim said. My parents, it was a show in my house every week, so, to say the least. Like, and my parents never got married, but they dealt with each other for over 20 years, and it was always an on and off again toxic relationship. And I didn't know then, but I do know now, just having a relationship with God, that God was speaking to me even as a child, because I knew what was right. I knew what was not right. Mm-hmm. I didn't necessarily know what was right, but I knew what was not right, if that makes sense. And so I would watch some things happen in my house, and I would make up in my mind as a child, like, I don't want that. And that's not going to happen for me. And I'm not going to be that way. And it took me a long time to kind of like understand, I guess, as a child, you have a real small piece of what you think you know or what you think you understand. And as an adult, I spoke to my parents and I realized some things. But as a child, it was like, this ain't it. Like, I mean, my sister can tell you, we joke about this now. She lived in this fairy tale fantasy where she just wanted our parents to be happily married. And I'm like, I don't want y'all to even be in the same room together. Like, I don't want y'all to be nowhere near each other, because in my head, I'm like, how do you not see that that's wrong? Like, how do you not see that that's not correct? Then somewhere around 15, 16, I started attending a church, and I seen a lot of positive marriages. And I'm like, okay. So for a long time, I knew what wasn't right. And now I'm starting to see what I'm thinking is something correct. And then my whole world got twisted upside down again, because a lot of those examples started getting divorced and they started leaving. I'm just like, whoa, like, God, this is what I thought. Like you said, they're teaching me. They've taught me. They say, you should be this and you should be that way. But then they're allowing this same thing to happen in their own marriages. And so what I thought was right, or what I thought was, a God example, for lack of a better word, like a good example of a godly marriage, that started to fall apart also. And then I kind of realized as an adult that there is no perfect marriage. There is no, I had a good example, I had a bad example. It's all what you were willing to work towards. It's all what you are willing to work for. And if you are going to choose it's literally a choice. If you're going to choose every day to show up in your marriage, every day to push forward in your marriage, because it doesn't really matter. Like, the examples that you had could be there today and gone tomorrow. The examples can be good today and bad tomorrow. And I just learned that in my own personal experiences.
Cliff and Claire was good examples.
A great example.
Great.
They were a TV show,
they're,
but
they're very influential.
They got married twice. They was on 2 different shows married together.
It sure was.
Yeah.
They was on what other show married?
The second Cosby Show.
With Dougie Doug.
What?
There was a second Cosby Show that came out later.
What was it called?
Cosby.
Cosby.
It was called Cosby. It was.
It was different characters though, but it was the same.
They had another Cosby Show?
Yeah. It wasn't with like Theo.
It was different characters. He wasn't the doctor. I don't even remember what his profession was. It was short-lived though. It was short-lived.
It sounds short-lived.
Never even happened.
Paragraph.
One thought that we hold on to, our motto: we are not in a marriage to be made happy or focus on my happiness. It's not about how it benefits me, but me being more concerned with his happiness and the benefits I can provide him. My marriage is about him. In turn, if I'm holding him down in that way, then he doesn't have to worry about himself being happy, and he's now focusing on me and wants to be all about me because I'm all about him, his desires, his aspirations, his dreams. Marriage is not selfish at all. You can't be selfish in a marriage.
Nope, because it will not work. What just happened?
I was selfish. No.
Yeah, you were.
I'm not selfish. I have some selfish ways still.
You're only child, bro. You selfish.
And it shows.
You're an only child? What happened to your brothers?
He grew up in.
Oh, that was later. That was later in life because his papa was a Rolling Stone.
Yeah, he was like,
hey, I can use the other word, bro, but I'm not going down that road with you because me and you've already had that conversation. So
you really grew up an only child?
Until 13,
I was
13?
Yeah, till 13, but my mom and dad wasn't together, and my mom raised me. So, like, when my mom and dad was together, I was the only one. And then when mom and dad split, I went with my mom, and I was the only one.
And that's why your name is Tim 1.
Okay, really?
Not 2 or 3, just
Yeah.
1.
It wouldn't be Tim 2 or
It
Tim
makes
3.
sense now.
Well, listen, if it makes sense to you,
It's the only one. You were one child. Tim, one kid.
Yeah, you gotta talk to my parents.
Tim, no more.
Silly.
So,
You are silly.
so we've all established that we grow as people, as individuals. Last kind of okay.
Yeah.
We already did that. We did that. We did that one already.
My bad.
It's okay.
Sorry. I'm kind of on it.
That we can't be selfish. We can't act like what is it? Only child syndrome. You can't do that. You got to work together. It's all about work.
And it ain't always just your way.
And she comments and says, "One and done."
See, I told you.
Love you, mama.
Basically, I'm messing with him. That's
Love
it.
you, mama. Love you, mama.
I'm only messing with him. Tim, one and done. No Pumbas.
Oh, really? Okay. Just take me.
It's all right.
Yeah, let's bring it back. So marriage is work, right? But we don't want to have people think that like the work isn't pleasurable. Like there's not pleasure in the work.
I was thinking.
Like marriage, like people will think like when you hear the word work, they think of it like a negative connotation to it. When like at the end of the day, like I love working on my marriage with my wife. I love to where when we have an issue and she don't want to talk, and I'm like, okay, this is something that we have to figure out how we're going to do this, how we're going to work it out, and it's not necessarily a game, but it's more so of like, how are we going to get through this and move forward? And those are the challenges that I'm like up to the task for. And I think that if people have that sort of mindset when it comes to marriage and not necessarily feel like it's all about me or it should be all about my way and not compromising or coming together or even sometimes agreeing to disagree, like that can happen in marriages. And I think that people think helpful. That you said what? Be helpful. Yes. Be helpful. What? Explain. Elaborate. You're being helpful. Elaborate.
Agreeing to disagree.
Right.
If we agree to disagree, we're cutting off an argument. Because if we argue, it could go left, then I don't want to go. So it's helpful to agree to disagree, did it right then and there. About the best I got right now.
Yeah,
that depends on the personalities.
Yeah, that one down there, the short, she can't do it.
I can't
because
do it.
Some people can't let stuff go.
Oh no, we talk about it later, but in that moment.
I don't know that I can agree to disagree. I would rather come on your side or you come on my side than to still be stuck in the middle.
Why?
Oh man, she don't do draws. It's got to be a winner or a loser, right?
Yeah, like, it can't always be a winner. Like, there's times where, okay, so for instance, like just when we were talking about how everyone is raised up different, right? So like if you grew up in a household to where you got spankings, right? And they didn't. Not saying that it was. I'm just saying like they didn't. You will have to come to some type of medium ground where y'all both come together in order to discipline the child. And there may be some times to where the wife or the husband will have to agree to disagree on how the child is being disciplined.
He yelled at my baby. I disagree.
See, that's a disagreement that we will always agree to disagree on that one until they're grown. Because at the end of the day, I feel like as a father, I have to establish one respect. There has to be rules and boundaries. And she'll be like, "Oh, that's my baby."
Not when you're disciplining them. Let's get that straight. I do not do that while he's disciplining the kids because I don't want the kids to know like to try to play us against each other. But behind them closed doors, we're gonna talk about why you spanked my baby. Why you couldn't just have a conversation with them or Siani older, so that's different. But don't pop my baby. But I won't let him see us having that conversation or Siani see us having that type of conversation.
Because kids will use that.
Yes, they will.
And be like, I'll go to mommy for this, and I'll go to daddy for that. And I'll be like, did you ask your mom? Or did you ask your dad? And they got this dumb look on their face. Like, yeah, I already know what the game is. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I think for me, as far as the agreeing to disagreeing, I would rather just come to a compromise. I don't like to always, because he's really good about saying like, okay, like he'll just say okay, but I feel bad even if he's just saying okay to my side, because I feel like he's just just adapting what I'm saying, and I don't mind to compromise. So I think I just feel like, I don't know. I just feel better if we both came to something that works for both of us versus you just coming to what I'm saying or we just leaving it in a disagreeing place.
Well, listen, we made the commitment to death do us part, so we got a lot of time to figure it out. If we might agree, we might disagree today, but then 5 months down the line, that same situation may come up, and we may start to look at things differently and agree.
That's a good point.
Angela, I see you over there talking and laughing, and what you got to say? I'm sorry, Lamar. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh, you good? You good?
Go ahead, Lamar.
Go ahead, Lamar.
I was just going to obviously piggyback on a couple of things. As she said, I am a type, kind of similar to what Kim was saying. Like, if there is a situation, I guess we use a phrase, agree to disagree. But I'll tell her, hey, like we've had this conversation, about the situation. I've said my part. I believe you've heard me. You said your part. I know I've heard you. Like maybe that's it. Because sometimes if we try to push too hard to get to, like she said, to get to quote unquote like one side, I'm like sometimes I guess you kind of risk the situation going left, possibly for no really, really great reason. But also like I think that like in a marriage, like there's going to be times and moments and situations and topics where the two just are not on. Or the two are just not on the same page. I honestly think, not to get too biblical, I guess, but I honestly think like this is part of the reason why like marriage is like the greatest gift that the Most High ever gave to us, to humanity outside of the sacrificing of his son. Marriage was amazing to him because there's so much value and uniqueness and greatness in two different sexes finding a way to coexist together, and not just coexist, but to love each other, and not just love each other, but to have a family together and have offspring. You know what I mean? It's not supposed to be easy. It's not supposed to be peaches and cream. It's not supposed to be like-minded all the time. Otherwise, he would have endorsed probably same sex, which we're not going to get into that. But I don't see that was endorsed. It was about two different individuals coming together and finding the process of working together and loving each other and living. And because of that, I tell her, like, I don't think we're always going to be on the same page, but the thing is, can we respectfully and still love each other and being on opposite pages? Can I still understand, like we've already touched on, you come from a different background, so you're going to be maybe hell-bent on, hey, chastising, you know what I mean? I come from a different background, like I might be different, but it's okay for you to feel this way about that, me to feel this way about this. I understand that that's how you feel, and I still love you, and you love me, and we may not be on the same page. And then just the last thing, Tamar, you kind of said it too. I've said this to Mercedes before. I'm like, sometimes, you know, if the situation's kind of left where we are on different pages, you never know. Like you said, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, a year down the road, if that situation comes back up, who's to say what I've learned, you know what I mean, over that course, or what she's learned over that course, or what we've learned over that course, or maybe how our kids have changed, or maybe how the world has changed, or maybe how our jobs have changed. There's so much that can happen over that time if we're willing to, you know, at times, you know, not try to push too hard on, you know, me getting to one side or her getting to the other side. She knows anytime we can, like, I always try to do that because I know that's what she needs, you know, when we come into situations. Right. Sometimes I've gotten rejected from like trying to, I would basically come to her side, and I don't, and in her mind, I didn't come to her side the way she wanted me to come to her side. So then it kind of like keeps going. So then it kind of like keeps going. And then so like, then I started kind of get a little more frustrated. I'm like, well, look, I'm saying I agree with you. I'm saying that I feel this. I'm saying I feel that. And then it's like, it either wasn't the way or it's not quite, you know, and so there's like more important. I'm just like, you know, whatever. But I understand that she is that way, and she needs that closure, and that, like she says, a common ground, a compromise. And I honestly, I do try to work very hard to do that, you know, for her.
Oh, don't all nothing. Don't all nothing, because I don't think. Don't all nothing. Let's just leave it. I don't.
So let's go to the comments. We got marriage is going to get. Can you read that?
Marriage is going to get something to eat, and your wife says, "Okay, I get what you're saying." Marriage is going to get something to eat, and your wife says she doesn't want anything, but you know she's lying, so you bring her some wings anyway. Right.
If you know, you know.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
It's true.
Like I said, queso chips when you went to Wawa.
Not Lamar. Not Lamar. He'll come in here. I'm like, you knew I was gonna want a cookie. He went, you ain't saying nothing about no cookie. He'll go right to. Sometimes he still will bring me a cookie even if I didn't ask for it. But if he go right to Chick-fil-A, come back with a cookie for himself.
So let me ask you a question. So let's say I, on my own, you know, for example, we'll use a Chick-fil-A example with a cookie. If I get meals and I bring back a cookie and she says, "Oh, it's okay, babe, I don't want a cookie." Okay, cool, my fault, or not even my fault. I'm like, all right, cool, all good. The next time I go, she doesn't say she wants a cookie, so I decide not to bring a cookie. But then it could be this response: "Oh, you bought yourself a cookie, but you didn't bring a cookie." I'm like, well, you didn't say it. But last time I brought it, you didn't say it, you didn't want it. So then I went off of kind of like, you don't say it. So then this
What Scott say? You always bring it.
Scott anyway. In Texas. Women are different out of Texas. We in Delaware.
Delaware woman in Texas. He ain't meet no new one.
Same one.
Nah, he been out there too long. He been out there too long. That son done burn his brains out, man. He can't think right.
Nope, you always bring the cookie.
Always bring.
Nah.
So I'm gonna defend myself real quick. Every time that I go out, I bring my wife home a coffee. 99.999% of the time. Is that a fact or fiction? That's a fact. I can't read your mind.
That's a fact.
Mm-hmm.
So if I get myself a snack and then I come home, if I get myself a snack and then I come home, I'll give you a piece of my snack. But then if you tell me that I should have gotten something that you only get on occasions, and then if I were to bring it to you, oh, you just want me to be fat. Where am I?
Kim, yo, stop, yo.
You'll think about me when I say specifically, I'm trying to do this diet. I'm getting back on this program. I'm working out. That's the only time he think about me to bring the stuff. To bring the extra stuff.
Really?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Yo.
Man. If I ain't working out, I ain't did nothing, I don't get no snacks.
Please forgive her, Miss High, for she not know what
she's trying to reward you, Kim.
Everywhere.
She probably
She trying to keep me safe. That's all it is.
Yo. But we're not going to air out.
Whatever, like, it's probably not communicated to tomorrow.
We are eating kale and goat cheese, and we're trying to do this together sometimes. I said,
wow. Sometimes.
Yeah, it is sometimes because there's times where I go on fast myself.
This man goes starvation mode.
And she calls it starvation mode.
He says, I'm fasting. I said, are you? I think I forgot to eat today. That ain't fasting.
Agreed.
It's called, look, Kim, it's intermittent fasting.
Yeah, all right.
Either way, we get the joke about these. I mean, yeah, it might be a quote unquote issue at the time, but I mean, all jokes aside, like it's really playful. I would think.
I was gonna say I never get mad.
Huh?
I just was gonna say I agree. We never really get mad that he didn't bring me a cookie.
And see, that to me is one of like the luxuries of being in marriage is the fact that it might be little stuff that we pick out here and there, but ultimately it's going to work out in the end. If we work at it, of course, and we have a common understanding. There's times to where I don't know whether she's playing or not, and we're 12 years in, and still I don't know when she's playing or not. And she's like, "Oh, I'm just playing." I'm like, "All right, man." When I try to play along, "Oh, you trying to?" Like, wait a minute now. I thought we was engaging. What? I can
give you an example.
Oh no, why you gotta give me an example?
Because y'all know me. Y'all know me. I'm a butthole, and it comes off out of nowhere.
Wait a minute.
I'm just saying,
this is
You're being recorded, bro.
Okay.
I'm a butthole. I know that, but I can't help it. It's the family that I grew up in. We are so quick-witting. Like you say something, I'm gonna have her come back. 9 times out of 10, off the rip. But when he does it doesn't feel authentic. So it feels like he's trying to be mean to me. And he's like, why when you do it, it's fine, but when I do it, it's a problem. Because that's my natural nature. But you're actually trying to do it. So it's like it comes off as you're trying to be an asshole to me.
No.
I think some people just can't take a joke. Everybody that we don't have, we have similar senses of humor, and I'm hilarious if I turn my humor on somebody else. But when my humor stays here, then all of a sudden, it's just not funny. It's not funny.
Nah.
Now I'm hurting feelings, and I cut too deep.
Nah. If we playing around, we playing around, but. You be hitting below the belt sometimes. You be going too far. you be going too far. You be saying stuff that if a man would say it to me, it'd be on sight. So,
well, vice versa, because I feel like I take the jokes when they come, right? When they come, I'm like, oh, ha, ha, ha. But when I return fire, now I'm the assassin.
Hold on. First of all, majority of the time you initiate these things. Majority of the time I am retaliating.
I'll go with that.
I was getting ready to say, and then after I hit, then you go below the belt because you ran out of material.
I'm just a fire shot. That's all.
Okay. So you be seeing that below the belt as well, huh?
Yeah, all the way below the belt, bro. It
ain't even that far below the belt. It be hitting right at the buckle, and he just don't like it. He don't like it.
Is it below? Because it ain't
below.
Hey, bro.
I hit the waistline.
They be docking points at this point, bro. They be docking points. No more warnings.
And I take it.
We're taking points.
Take a point off.
Mine's taking point.
But see, that's that communication too, because sometimes I'll think something's funny. It doesn't, bother me. And then when I say it to him, he's like, oh, no, that's serious. So I have to take that into account. You know what I mean? Again, it's the differences in our communication that sometimes happen. So I'm trying to learn where the belt buckle is so I can stay above it. Try. Make no promises.
You want to learn with it? No.
Oh.
Hey, man. Hey, yo, stop sagging. Stop sagging with your pants. And, you know what I'm saying?
You get caught slipping, that ain't my fault.
Pull your pants up on your waist, man, so that you can know how where the low blow it.
Man, I got them up above my belly button.
Hey, since we on boxing,
herbal out there.
I try to learn how to adapt, like Floyd does in the ring. Talking about below the belt, and my adapting comes off as mean. I'm like, wait a minute now. I thought we was, you know what I mean? I hit you with a jab, and you hit me with a jab, and I hit you with an uppercut. Now you feel away. Like what's happening? Because you're not delivering the uppercut. If that's what's happening.
I can't think of anything.
But needless to say, on a positive question though, what is the one thing that you would tell anyone who wants to get married, is married, or even on the verge of divorce? What has worked for you that you think will work for any couple in general?
I'm kidding.
Really?
I'm kidding.
I didn't even hear what she said.
She said Malibu, talking about the rum.
Malibu
drink like that, yo. You
said get a little captain in your life.
Long Island.
Little captain.
Yo,
I'm
you
kidding.
a nut,
I don't even
yo.
drink that much. I'm kidding. But,
I guess we'll
I would say remember to have fun. One of the things when you get married, it does get stale sometimes. You get so caught up in your own world, you get so caught up in your kids' world that you forget to have fun with your other half, even if it's just, making time for like a date night once a week. Don't rely on just holidays and anniversaries and certain dates to do things with your spouse. So I would say just make sure that you carve out time that just make sure you have fun with each other.
So I think some of the best advice I was ever given was, and I know it was said earlier, but just make your relationship your own. Do not focus on other people. Don't look at how other people do their relationships. Like some of the worst advice I got was, oh, well, the wife should do this in the relationship. The husband should do this in the relationship. Tried to give guidelines. And when someone else told me, nobody puts guidelines or restrictions on your relationship. You do whatever works for your house and your relationship. So I think that was one of the best things I ever learned. And when we really shut the door and decided what our relationship was going to be, not what, we thought other people would like to see of us or what we should be, but what would make both of us happy, that made a huge difference and made a real lasting relationship, because now it's what makes both of us happy.
Hey.
It's my turn, I guess. I guess for me,
I heard you whispering. What you whispering? No, I'm joking. Go ahead.
I said, is it my turn? I think for me, I would say to don't lose yourself. And what I mean by don't lose yourself is, yes, y'all are a couple, but you are still somebody individually. And that was something I'm still am working on something there, because I could be like Velcro to my husband. I can literally be all day, every day. Like when I think the thing is, don't try to look at me. I think the thing is, I think the thing is when I moved down here and I felt like he was the only person that I had. So the only thing I clung to was my husband, and then I also clung to being a mom. But I'm more than that. I'm more than just a wife. I'm more than just a mom. I have other things. And so over the course of we'll be married 6 years this year. Over the course of those 6 years, like I felt like I was losing myself, and mentally that put me in a place where I began to struggle within my marriage, not as far as like wanting to be with my husband or not wanting to be with my husband, but because I was being hard on myself, it reflected in my marriage. And I was not happy with where I was or what I was doing or what I was being or how I was being, or the fact that I felt like the only thing I do is support my husband and make sure my kids are okay. That began to reflect in our marriage. And so as I began to find what I like to do, the hobbies, the things that I like to do, again, the friends, and make time for myself and make time to go and do things that I like to do, then I realized that like I won't be so bothered if he goes out for a night, or if like I don't need to be with him every basketball. Well, I'm probably still gonna go to every basketball game, but I don't need to feel like he is my only, because I have other things too. So don't lose yourself. Remember that you are somebody, and you were somebody before y'all got married, and you're still somebody while you're in the marriage. You're not just a wife, you're not just a husband, you're not just a parent, but you have things and gifts and talents that God has given you that you can still pursue while still being married.
Go ahead, Bishop.
I'm not a bishop.
First thing is forget everything that people have told you before you got married. No, I'm joking. There's probably some truth to that, but another thing is I mean, it's kind of already touched on, but don't forget what got you here, I guess. Like you'd be surprised for, I mean, the male or the female, the things that you, if you were to kind of revisit, like your spouse would kind of get to reminiscing, and it's a great memory. It's a great thing to kind of go back to, you know, pre-marriage, pre-kids, you know, the dating or courting time of, you know, what got you here. I guess it kind of goes to like, you know, selected like a date night type stuff. But one of the big things is like, this is really, really, really cliche, but I mean, this is probably one thing I've expressed to my wife, like from day one. Marriage is a process. Like it's a process. It's a marriage marathon. See what's going on there? No. But it's like it's a oh, I won't lose you guys. With every aspect, with everything you go through, with everything you learn, the good, the bad, like
I think we did lose him.
It is coming down out there.
So I think the comments before we do ours.
Good job. Look at you.
Okay, there we go. Hey, there we go.
Oh, was that just on us?
It was.
It was?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry guys.
Okay.
We just plugged up the charger, but
sorry. My monkey don't have no show. We're about to keep moving on.
I think we all kind of expressed like, you know, we all may or may not have like, you know, great examples, you know, or great people or couples that we can kind of rely on to help us get through certain parts of marriage. I know I said that to her from the beginning, but I also said to her, like, I have a vision, you know, for our marriage, and like we can she would tell me sometimes, she would say like that's what would she say, that's not real, or that's not a real marriage, or it would be something along those lines about if I say give her an idea or something, and she would say, well, you know, that I don't think that's a real marriage, or that's not, you know, real. And I would say, well, no, it's not, because like we haven't done it yet, but maybe we should normalize it. Maybe we should make that real. Maybe we should make like the fact that we can basically like get through anything, you know, maybe we should have a centerpiece that we always can connect to or revisit when we get to our lowest times. Like, yes, that's not real, but let's normalize it, because that's the vision that I have for our marriage. So like, just kind of reiterating to her, like, whatever we go through, like, it's a process. And that's one of the biggest things I think anybody should understand in marriage. Like, there never be any finished products. Like, each individual is probably going to always be growing. Don't be afraid of change, because all growth should bring change. All change may not bring growth, but if you're growing, there's going to bring some change. So you shouldn't be afraid of that. And that's all part of the process. Sorry, that was kind of long.
You're good, bro.
That's good.
So we're gonna go down a few of the comments before we says marriage is lots of communication and no assumption. Be a clean slate and an open book. I would agree. I used to assume a lot that he should know because he was previously married, but that wasn't a productive marriage. So never assume, always talk. Definitely always talk. The realest thing I was told was, yes, the wedding is great, but it's all about preparing for the marriage. Also, communication is key. And when you, as the husband, finally win the argument, celebrate.
You better, because it's only gonna happen once.
Yo, he's sick.
I still haven't had my moment yet, man.
Hey, bro.
Easy. Yo, he's
be easy, bro.
Yo, I'm out there throwing shots away from Texas.
Sleep naked?
Sleep naked. People who sleep naked are happy.
That's what I'm talking. That's what I'm talking about.
Not when you have kids.
I'm sure there's science behind that. We should probably look into it. Probably some science behind.
The science behind it is more kids, so I don't know about that one.
The science behind it is explanations. When people ask questions, why you came in the room and I got in bed and Daddy was naked. That's the science behind it.
Growing the family.
On the family.
No.
We got date night.
It's hot. And you know you're hotter with that skin to skin contact. Put your clothes on. It's hot.
Oh man, there's so many things I want to say, but we're gonna keep this peace. Date night. Forgive and learn to like each other. Definitely. This guy sleep naked is in the Bible.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh. They didn't even know they was naked until after Eve ate the apple.
They still was naked.
And then they were naked after that from everything.
They were naked from then on. Everybody was just naked before.
Naked under my clothes.
It probably is a science to that when you talk about body chemistry and all of that. But, yeah, so I'm not even gonna.
Yeah, so I think.
Shut up. All right.
Stop. I need your question again.
What is one thing that you would tell a couple that's about to get married, or on the brink of divorce? Like, possibly?
I would say, and this is from personal experience, be willing to hold yourself accountable. Because to me, when you hold yourself accountable, it allows you to hear your partner grow and evolve. And like, I have a hard time listening, so I don't know which one of y'all said this, but when you grow and evolve, change comes or something like that.
Amara just said it.
Kim, you was not that special, sis.
I ain't special. My mind is just. You see how I lose my thought in the middle of the sentence? I'll be going. I'm going to be like, yeah.
You see her thought? She was dead serious. She said, I don't know which one of y'all said this.
Listen, I was sitting when Lamar finished speaking, I was like, did Mer go? Did she talk? Am I going to jump across her like I did? It's bad. I don't know what happened. And I don't smoke. I don't know what happened.
And
I'm not even high today.
But I do feel like if you hold yourself accountable, it allows you to look at yourself within and be like, okay, my partner is telling me this about me. I can see that. I need to change that in order for this to work better. And if both of you guys are holding each other accountable, y'all can evolve and grow and change, grow together, do it together, and it'll be successful. That's all I got.
I mean, it's gonna.
Some water?
Yeah, I do actually.
That goat cheese tickle in the back of your throat.
Nah, it's the Bulgur.
You don't even, bro. Don't say that. You don't even know what it is yet, bro. Stop saying that.
Wait a minute. You know what it is?
No, I don't.
So don't.
Listen.
Oh, well, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to start the argument. I'm sorry.
You see me. I'm like.
This is all.
8 out of 9 ingredients.
Because Kim vicious.
No, I'm not. Yes, I am.
Yes, you are, sis.
Vicious.
Oh. Yeah.
Wash the dishes.
You gotta know how to,
He's the only one that can get me to shut up. That's saying a lot. And I can admit that. I'm being accountable.
Oh, look at you. Accountability.
Period.
When Lamar was saying about like change and growth, it made me think. My wife told me the other day, she was like, "You turned into a whole new person. You got hair. You letting your fingernails grow. Yeah. You trying to lose weight. Yeah, I was real heavy on the biting fingernails, and now I got little nails.
Yeah, specify that because it didn't sound great.
Okay. I was confused as well.
You said you let your fingernails grow, your hair. I thought you was turning into something else that wasn't male, bro.
Oh, you really?
Hold on.
Really
it's 2022 now.
I know. Listen,
no, he had a really bad habit of biting his nails down to the meat.
All right, I'm glad you specified that because you scared me. So you let your hair grow.
Now
you nails. I'm like,
I got hair now. I got nails.
But that didn't sound good, bro.
Mud is just out of the gutter. Goodness gracious. Listen.
Come on, baby.
Okay.
Come on.
All right.
Baby.
Don't coddle me. No.
Don't touch me, woman.
Right. Don't touch me.
Don't touch me.
Oh, they're insulting his manhood. Get your hands on me.
All right, come on.
No, okay. All right. But one of the things that I would say is that you cannot be afraid of change, whether it's with you or with your spouse. That's inevitable. And nobody's going to be the same. And Kim had me watching a flipping Madea movie the other day, or not too long ago. And Madea said some wise stuff. Granted, I don't be...
Bruh, stop calling him Madea.
That's what the character was.
Pee Wee Herman put on an outfit. Y'all called him Pee Wee Herman. I'm just saying.
That's because we didn't know that. I still don't know that damn real name.
I don't know his name.
Wait, Pee Wee Herman, somebody else?
Let's stay focused. Let's stay focused. Pee Wee Herman's a girl.
Pee Wee Herman's
I'm just joking.
No.
I'm just joking. Let's go. Go ahead, Tamon. Keep going, man. Keep going, man.
God. Yeah, I'm sure y'all had me gone.
Go ahead, Tamon. Keep going, man.
One of the things that he said was that when you say I do, you're going to say I do to a lot of people. Now, when he first said that, I was like, talking about like multiple personalities? No. The fact that people are going to change, and you got to be willing to say I do to that person each and every day.
Oh,
so
that makes sense.
when it comes to, like, Kim is not the same Kim that I met. She's not the same one that I married, and I still love her the same. I'm not the same Tamon that she met. I'm not the same Tamon that she married. However, we have grown in a positive direction, both together, separately. We've been through traumas separately and together, and all of those things.
Individually, not.
Okay. Individually, my fault. Let me be specific. Whatever you want to say.
It says sp.
Well, you making my RC for education a little bad tonight, bro.
You gonna blame that on him?
All right. You're not going there tonight.
That's that slower lower.
It is not.
I can't even argue with that tonight.
Okay, go ahead. We sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead, man. You doing
Go
good.
Go ahead, brother. You got it.
Speaking good, bro.
I'm
You
being
speaking
real
good.
Pacific.
Take your time. Take your time.
Come on, Aki.
Oh. Shalom Aleichem. But like, we can't be afraid of growth, of change, and you got to learn how to adapt with your partner and understand that, like, y'all are in this together. Y'all made a commitment, and even when you're 20, 30 years and all the kids is out of the house and you're empty nester and whatnot, like, that should be your time to revive, not to feel like, oh, it's done, we're going to split up. Like, no, y'all should rekindle stuff. Like y'all were saying, as far as like the date nights and whatnot, you got all the date nights in the world now when all your kids is gone. So So like, yeah, I can't wait till my son is graduated because that's the last of the Mohicans. Because I know that I'll get back to actually dating my wife on a regular basis versus choosing different times out of this person's schedule or that person's schedule to be like, okay, you want to sit down and watch a movie while the kids is downstairs in the basement or something, you know what I mean? So just learn to adapt and don't be afraid of change. That would be my number one thing, because some people are scared of change and scared to grow up and they still want to be young and still want to be a kid. And it's like, you can at your age and still have fun. You can still be in your mid-30s, late 30s, 40s, 20s, whatever the case may be, and still enjoy yourself. It don't have to be like, oh, I'm this age, I'm going to do X. Yeah, I'm going to just leave it at that. This is Sussex County vernacular. Oh, man. What is happening? It is not a vernacular. I play. I'm very well educated for me not to be a college graduate. Self-teach myself. Yeah, there's some words that I don't know. Take it on the chin. But I would say that I'm quite brilliant, and my wife would agree. And I've made some brilliant kids, so I know what I did wrong in my scholastic, whatever. But needless to say, don't take my vocabulary for what it is. I'm a very smart individual.
You're very intelligent, very educated.
You gave yourself credit.
I did. Look at that. Oh. Look at that. I'm growth. I'm growth. I am growth. Oh man, I love this growthing process. So,
growthing.
Yes, growth.
Yeah, growthing. We gonna say growthing tonight. So I'm gonna steal something from a cohort, Dwayne and Dom. Final thoughts on marriage, just in general, before I wrap it up. Why are you looking like that?
I was rubbing my head. It's pretty much.
I hope I'm not stressing you out.
Not now.
Not really. Okay, so I'll start. My final thought is that marriage is a huge decision. Marriage is a choice, and choose wisely. And I would say for anyone who's in a relationship, take them through the interview process like you would if you were a corporation interviewing for a position that you want a qualified person to fit. I asked a litany of questions to my wife before we got married about beliefs, about what ifs, about scenarios, about goals, aspirations, about a lot of things. And she passed with flying colors. So it wasn't just about the attraction. It was just like, okay, I've been past that. Like I had a big butt to smile, and it wasn't all what I thought it was. So we need to have some substance here. And the substance has kept us going. And it has been a lovely ride, to say the least.
Oh, so sweet.
You gonna say that too?
Hmm? Okay. It's been a lovely ride.
Wow.
Bruh. Oh my God, you get on.
What's your final thought, baby?
My final thought, I had it.
You lost it? Get it back. Come on, get it. Go for it.
Oh man.
Wait, where is that?
Come on, Kim.
I'm trying. I don't. It was good too.
It was good.
Them usually be the best ones, the ones you lose.
You lost it, but you know it was good.
Yes.
It'll come back to you on the toilet tonight.
You want to come back to you?
Yeah, come back to me.
All right.
Shut up, Angela.
I said that's when Dwayne gets his.
I have my best thoughts on the toilet. That's why I take a pad. That's why I take a pad in there with me sometimes. But my final thought on marriage is simply just work at it. You know, just work at it. Anything worth having is worth fighting for. So if you're not willing to fight for it, then leave it alone. So I'll just leave it at that.
I got mine. Can I jump back in before I forget it again?
Go ahead, jump in there, real quick, double Dutch style.
Don't let nobody tell you about your marriage. Don't let anyone tell you how to do your marriage. You do your marriage the way it works for you, like y'all had said. That's my final thought.
Like y'all had said.
Because as I was talking, I realized that point was made already. But that was my final thought, though. Like you really can't let other people dictate your marriage. So,
Agreed. I'm gonna take it from a pre-thought. I think somebody also said earlier, just take your time with choosing the person that you're gonna marry. Like it's a serious matter, and too often I hear people just wanting to get married because we get along so great, or it's super cute and I can't wait to plan my wedding. But it really is the person that you're vowing to spend the rest of your life with. So take your time and figure it out. But on the flip side of that, if your gut is telling you that this is the person, then it doesn't matter what other people say or what your timing is. But either way, just when you do it, make sure this is what you want. At least going in it with a heart right at the beginning makes it a little bit better. But going into it shaky and scared and not knowing what you want, you're just adding to the problems that could come later. So just take your time. If they gonna be it. And as we all said, you'll find out because Facebook will bring you back together.
Mama used to say, take your time, young man. Sorry. Shorts, any final thoughts?
I'll speak for both of us.
Mercedes.
I can't think of anything. That's what I said. I also said we need to be on the top half of this next time so you can't see my forehead and my head.
Oh my gosh.
You need to be up here like that. You see that? You see where y'all are? You see where y'all are? But y'all down here looking at me who trying to redo these curls in his head.
Yo, ain't nobody worried about you.
I'm worried about me.
At least it ain't shiny.
Look.
I dusted mine.
Look,
what you say, Angie?
I dusted it. I put a little bit of just in case. Then one day,
all in the camera.
Right before we came on, it was like, all right, pat.
I'm trying to figure out if it's a glare from my light or the glare from my face. I'm like, go ahead.
Your glow looks naturally beautiful to us.
Thanks. I'm also naturally tired. All of it. Go ahead.
I mean, if y'all get your final thought, we can get off.
I'll speak on behalf of both of us. I'll just say, and I kind of mentioned a little bit earlier. So, like marriage is, one of God's greatest, one of His greatest gifts. He actually wants marriages to succeed. So, that should be more of, I guess, a point to kind of try our best to keep, the Most High as the center, keep Him involved. He has if He ordained it, then He knows all the ins and outs. He knows the principles, that we should try to build our marriages on. Marriage should work like a machine, but it typically only operates, like I said, on a specific on specific principles. So just know that if you do choose to get married, it is by the Creator. It's something that He ultimately wants to go really, really well for those that choose to have it. So don't be afraid to keep them involved.
A man that findeth a wife findeth a good thing.
A good thing.
My family, good thing, boy. Let me stop. All right. So, thank you guys for tuning in. We want to thank the Bivens and the Shorts for joining us. We greatly appreciate you guys. Could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with us.
So it was not scripted. Sorry.
Oh my, y'all practice that, don't lie.
I mean, it's saying
They
it's
say it every night.
They definitely practice it.
No, this is all freestyle.
You obviously listen to too much Jay-Z.
Yes.
It's embedded almost.
Yeah.
Sometimes it just comes out to like, didn't I hear that song? Why does that come out like a?
And clearly, I don't remember where any of it comes from. So. I don't remember nothing. My mind, it's a little weak. My mind is weary.
Yeah. Okay, so we want to thank you guys for coming on. We want to thank everybody for tuning in.
Sitting so high up.
Just making sure y'all for eating, yes. It was
That's what got to be
salad.
That's what got to be room temperature.
We'll be back with you guys in 2 weeks. We hope that you guys want to join us. We don't know. We do know, but we don't know. We'll see. Either way, thank you for coming on.
Thank y'all. This is
Appreciate you for having us, man. Appreciate the invite.
Absolutely. Appreciate it.
And you guys are invited to the house so we can have this in personal settings and we can
bring your own
laugh
chairs.
and talk and
Bring our own chairs.
I gotta bring my own food too. You want?
Listen, we upgraded, so I got to get more.
Yeah, she is.
She's on
Right now, bring your own chairs.
I can bring a chair.
Yeah. Yo.
Y'all help us with some chairs.
I'm used to sitting on the floor.
Yeah.
I'm not far from the come up.
Yeah.
Listen, baby,
we'll figure it out. Y'all don't have to bring your chairs, man.
Yeah, we definitely coming through though, man. We've been talking about it, so we definitely coming through.
Raise the roof.
If your wife answer my phone calls when I call, that's another thing.
All right, we're getting personal. So, everybody, enjoy your night. Take care.
Look, you
Love
see me hiding.